Alright. My name is Researcher Rowe Lucian, and today I'll be talking about SCP-2468. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. As SCP-2468 relocates at random intervals, it is impossible to fully contain the phenomena. Should SCP-2468 relocate, the surrounding area must be locked down and quarantined by a containment team, with cover stories given in the likely case of civilian activity around it. Once lockdown has been achieved, in order to maximize SCP-2468's time within the locked zone, a minimum mass of roughly 55 kilometers of raw, fresh meat will be brought to SCP-2468's area of effect once a week, starting from day 1 of locating. Disappearance of SCP-2468 must be reported immediately. Description: SCP-2468 is an entity resembling a human child, with all reported cases appearing to be at the ages of 9 to 10. The entity's appearance changes periodically, although it always bears wounds of various sources. Strangulation, blunt cranial trauma, and bruises of varying severity appear to be more common than others. SCP-2468 tends to appear in populated yet open areas, including urban parks and town squares. The entity has shown a tendency to revisit places which have resulted in a successful yield. SCP-2468's behavior is consistent across all instances. The entity lies on the floor in a fetal position and requests help in various languages. Recorded languages include English, Spanish, Russian, Swahili, Hebrew, and German, depending on its current location. Upon reaching a distance of 35 centimeters from SCP-2468, organic objects are lifted by an unknown force to a height of approximately 2 meters, and dematerialize completely along with SCP-2468. The entity returns to the area after roughly 2 minutes. In the time between SCP-2468's disappearance and its return, no anomalous qualities are found in that area it is located in. Testing has shown that SCP-2468 disables all electronic devices, including GPS trackers and wireless cameras. Retrieved electronics have shown signs of water damage, even in waterproof objects. SCP-2468 has been responsible for the disappearance of 16 individuals so far. Out of those, 4 have returned. All 4 subjects were reported to have a mass of roughly 55 kilograms or less prior to disappearance. All subjects were found in a catatonic state, and 2 expired prior to questioning. Although seemingly intended to capture humans, SCP-2468 will accept any type of meat with a mass above 55 kilograms. Raw and fresh meat has been proven to contain the anomaly in the air it's been found in longer than frozen, cooked, or expired meat. Inorganic objects not in contact with organic objects are not affected by SCP-2468. SCP-2468 was first sighted by the Foundation during a series of disappearances in the town of New York. The case was brought to the Foundation's attention when a homeless woman seemingly disappeared in front of several witnesses after approaching a child. She was later found catatonic at the town's park. The Foundation interrogated the subject before administering Class B amnestics to her and all witnesses and initiating a lockdown on SCP-2468's surroundings in order to contain and begin research. Since its discovery, SCP-2468 has moved 35 times and is currently located in Ohio. Addendum 2468-1. Interview of D-2468-6. Interviewed: D-2468-6. Interviewer: Dr. Stanford. Forward. D-2468-6 is the first D-Class personnel in Dr. Nugent's line of experiments with SCP-2468 to survive long enough for an interview. Begin log. What happened after you got close to SCP-2468? I can't really describe it, Doc. Ain't nothing like anything that ever happened to me. Could you please try? Alright, Doc. I'll try. At first, it felt like I fell up. Kind of like skydiving, you know? Except this time, I was going up instead of down. For a few seconds, I just fell up. It's dark as hell. And then I suddenly... Ever fell into a pool on your stomach? That's what happened. You fell up into a pool of water? It wasn't water. It didn't feel like water. Something about it was just plain wrong. That's when I noticed a fishing hook between my teeth. A fishing hook? Yeah. Those crooked metal things you put on your fishing rod. Only a hell lot bigger and lodged into my cheek. We didn't find any wounds on your person. I know. But it was there. Lord knows it was. I believe you. Continue. What happened when you fell into the water? I couldn't breathe. When I first tried to, I inhaled some of the water. Sweet Lord, did it burn on the way in. It was sort of like salt water, too. It was hot and overwhelming, and it felt like I was invaded by fucking salt. I could taste it in my mouth. It was up my nose and down my chest, and... Sorry about that, Doc. It's alright. Continue. What happened next? Alright. I started struggling with my breath before seeing them. Who's them? Fuckers who held the rods. There were 3 of them, and one was a lot bigger than the other 2. They were like massive fish with legs and hands. They had orange scales all over their body, except for their legs. Those were green. One of the small ones, it held me closer to its face. I could see his head and face. And Lord, what an ugly face it had. Noted. What happened to then? That thing started shaking me around, making the most horrible noise, and showed me to the big one. He just looked at me for a second, and then he threw me back into the water, or air, or whatever. And that's where he found you? Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm coughing my lungs out, and one of you guys rushes to my aid. Understood. Will that be all? Yeah, no. The big one. It said something before it threw me back. What'd he say? It ain't got no meat on it. Closing statement. D-2468-6 was retained for further questioning. Very, very interesting. I will attempt to make contact with these entities. Dr. Nugent. Addendum 2468-2. Following the interview with D-2468-6, after getting approval from Security Chief... Dr. Nugent began attaching stainless steel plates with messages expressing benevolence and an interest in communication engraved on them to the meat supplied to SCP-2468. All messages were rejected by SCP-2468. Upon 3 rejected messages, the entity relocated to its current position. Dr. Nugent was forbidden from sending more messages this way. Alright. That's all I have to say about this subject.